Hey, how are you guys doing? In this video, we're going to be looking at Ford. Now, before we dive into the chart, I would recommend you go check out the new 2021 Ford Bronco. This has been in the works for quite some time now. The last Bronco came out in 1996, and so we have had a 25-year gap before we have now seen this new unveiled Bronco last night. I think it looks pretty good. I think it's going to be some good competition for the Jeep Wrangler. Who knows, maybe all of the high school and sorority girls will be rolling around in Ford Broncos come this time next year. So with that, let's go ahead and dive on into the chart. Now with this, we're going to start with the long-term time frame and then move into the more recent short-term trading. So with that, let's start way out. Let's look at this weekly chart, and then we'll move in a bit closer. So the reason I like to look at the long term is it really gives you a nice picture of what the stock has been doing over the past, say, 5 to 10 years. And then you can move into the more close trading, and you can see what have been the main price points for the more short-term trading. But you can, go ahead and get a nice overall direction here with the weekly chart. So there's a couple things I do want to point out here that may or may not be beneficial for us as we move into the future. But if we look back here, dating into 2006, 2007, you can see we had a pretty strong resistance up here at about $9. And that's kind of where the bottom fell out at the beginning part of this year, was right around $9. So it was a resistance for some time back there. And then we started to see the breakdown, and we broke all the way down and found some stability for a few weeks or a few months down here in 2008, and that was all during the Great Recession. From there, we dipped lower and made it all the way down here towards $2 a share would be really the low that we were looking at as far as a level goes. Obviously, we went down here to a dollar, but as far as an average level, we'll be looking at about $2. But I want to focus right in here. Was right around $4.25 is where we found that support, right? And if you look at our recent trading, that is also where we bounced. We actually cruised all the way down here towards about $4 a share. But since then, we bounced. We actually made some pretty impressive gains, moving all the way up here close to $8 a share. And since then, we have retraced back. So what levels we have here on the weekly are the 425, which has acted as a support here in the near term, and this is dating all the way back to 2008. We also have down here as support right around $2 a share is going to be a huge support if we ever get down to that level. You could also put down here in the upper threes, or not the upper, the lower threes down here, say around $3.10 all the way to $3, could also act as a support if we were to move down there. And then up to the upside, we have $9 as being a resistance. And we also have this pretty consistent downward trend. And this is dating all the way back to 2014. So that's one more thing to keep in mind, is we really haven't been able to crack and hold above that downward trend for any period of time in the past 5 to 6 years. Now, if we move into the more recent trading, I want to move to the 6-month 4-hour. That paints us a good picture of this year. That is where we're really going to start to see what have people been doing, how have they been trading this stock over the course of this year. So obviously we had this initial sell-off period, and there really wasn't a whole lot worth of support, except for maybe in here around the $7 or the upper sixes. So we'll go ahead and throw in a level right around 7. Now we came all the way down, and as I mentioned, we bounced right around $4, $4.25. We made a nice spike all the way up here towards the upper 5s. From there we came down and made a higher low. But then you can see we started to get in this whipsaw pattern, right? And we were making lower highs, but we were also making higher lows. So we were coming into this period of a wedge, right? And we were waiting to see what the breakout was going to be. And a lot of people were faked out on this one, right? So we had we had this break to the downside. We made another higher or a lower high, and then we broke down from this upward trend, And then we pulled, and we saw a lot of buyers step in and push this all the way up, now setting a higher high in comparison to what we saw back here in late March, right around $6 a share. So we're going to go ahead and put that in as being a resistance, because from there we pulled back, and actually if you look back here in the early stages of March, that also acted as a bit of a support as we were sliding down. Now, we gained some stamina. We found some support down here right around 575, so we can throw in a level there. And again, notice that was where we saw our tops, not the wicks, or not the wicks, but we saw the tops of these bars was right around 575, so you could have used that as being a support. From there, we bounced, we cracked through $6, and from there, we are kind of off to the races. This thing soared all the way up towards $8 a share, which is kind of where we ended up. So we had that first initial period of deep selling from 9, and then from there, we saw the next shelf as being $8 a share. And as we ran up on it, you can see there was a lot of sellers, really from about $7.50 up. There was a lot of people that were just wanting to take their profits and run. And from there, we shifted all the way down. Saw a nice little bounce right up here around $6 a share. Bounced up here towards about $7, and then we have moved back down. But notice this was now a lower high. So this is showing to me that it looks as if we're in a period of downward or a downward trend, or maybe consolidating. And we push down again, and as we hit that $6 price point, we started to gain some support. We didn't make it all the way down to 575, but we bounced a little bit below 6. From there, we really struggled with $6.15. And if we move this in a little bit closer now, we might be able to see that a little bit better. So here would be that level. We'll call it 620 is probably a better or more accurate representation. So we pushed all the way up here towards 620, and then we sold off. We couldn't break above it. Resistance, 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 resistance all day long. We sold all the way down, cracked all the way down towards about $5.70 to 75 cents, bounced, and over the past few days, we have made a nice move through 6, hit 620, sold back down, and then today, the day after the release of the Bronco, we have seen this nice push through 620, which was once a very strong resistance. So you can see we actually started to make a move down today, and then the whole market really rallied as we went into the close after a pretty red day yesterday. But for me, for Ford at the moment, it looks pretty strong. We've seen this nice solid bounce off of $5.75. We have pushed up to 6. We pushed up to 620, broke through 620, and now we're sitting here at $6.45. It's about a 12% gain. Now, if we scoot this back out, we'll leave it here on the hourly. You can see that we do have some resistance coming up right around 650, and as we push up from there, I would say up near $7 a share. But now you can see we're making higher highs. We set in this lower low, so this could be the bottom of this downward consolidation period, and now we're pushing up. We broke through this resistance. We're going to set a higher high, a higher low, and then we'll start to move up from here. That's just one idea. We could also hit 650 and then start to trend down. If we were to start to trend down from there, the level of support that I'd be looking at would be 620 as being a nice solid level. If we were to break down from that, obviously we want to see 6 hold. But then that starts to give you the idea, if we can't hold 620, and that was such a big resistance in the past, we just blew through it. Now we've broken back down below it so quickly, that would show a sign of weakness to me. So really what I'd like to see is if this thing can come up and hit 650 and then maybe gain some sort of consolidation, take a breath, and then take that run towards $7 a share. And, that's nothing to sneeze at here. That's another, 7.5 to 8% gain if it were to charge from 650 all the way up towards 7. So right now, I think Ford is looking pretty good. Over the past few days, it's showing some great signs of strength. Now, we do have our earnings conference coming up here in just a couple of weeks, but I think that would provide enough time to see this push up and maybe test that $7 price point again, or maybe just these upper sixes. But again, if it does roll back to the downside, let's see 620 hold. If not, we want to see 6 hold. And if we start to tumble from there, there may be more signs of weakness, and we could be heading lower to maybe test some levels down here in the mid 5s. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and you want to leave a like, go for it. If you want to see a different stock, leave it down in the comments and I'll get to it and make an analysis on it. So with that, guys, I will catch you in the next one.